so many people joining right on time. And I would love if people can switch on the videos. I know it's Saturday and we all are in in our daily morning schedules, but we would love to have you all.
Yeah,
Hi,
entrepreneurs के लिए
Purva.
चलता है. It's okay. It's okay to not be in the most perfect shapes. That's what our true natural selves are. And I'm sure that in today's session, Naiyya joining us, she'll be, really happy to see all the faces when we are doing this session, so that she knows that the kind of value she's adding to the entire community over here.
Yes, yes. And we would like to welcome Naiyya to switch on her video and see. Hi.
Lovely.
I think we need to make her the host.
Yes, yes. Yeah, she's there.
You know, I just want to step in 1 minute ke liye. I couldn't agree more with being in a very disheveled state. I'm in the middle of a launch myself. So I've been up all night, and apologies for my appearance. I do not represent the Good Glam group normally this way, certainly. But no, but it's really exciting to see everybody up and early on Saturday morning. Amrit and Ranjika, I mean, the community is amazing. And I was also Googling Manama to figure out where it was. I learned something new. So wonderful to see everybody.
Yes.
Lovely. So I think we are good to start with today's session. So let's get started. Everyone is excited. So are we. And let's quickly start with a brief intro about Naiyya doesn't need an introduction, but formality hai, banta hai, karna padega. Because I love doing this. So all right. So to the entire community, ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure that I introduce our esteemed guest for today's Masterati interview session on leveraging the power of communities to build successful businesses. Ms. Naiyya Saggi, founder, Baby Chakra, co-founder of the Good Glam Group and CEO of the Good Community. Naiyya Saggi is an exceptional entrepreneur and visionary leader whose remarkable journey in the world of business has been nothing short of an inspiration. As a founder of Baby Chakra, a pioneering parenting platform, Naiyya quickly established a strong community where parents could find support, guidance, and valuable resources. However, her entrepreneurial prowess didn't stop there. Naiyya's vision and her dedication led her to become a key figure in the success story of the Good Glam Group. As a parent organization, the Good Glam Group encompasses various well-known brands, with Baby Chakra being one of them as a business vertical. Under Naiyya's guidance, Baby Chakra became a part of the Good Glam Group, a move that further strengthened its position in the industry and opened up new avenues for growth. The Good Glam Group, with a diverse portfolio of brands, has disrupted the beauty and personal care market, becoming one of South Asia's leading D2C beauty and personal care unicorns. Naiyya's journey is a testament to her ability to build successful businesses, leveraging the power of communities. She understands the value of trust, transparency, inclusivity in fostering a thriving ecosystem that caters to the needs of her audience. Today, we have the privilege of hearing directly from her as she shares her insights and experiences on how she harnessed the power of communities to create thriving businesses under the umbrella of the Good Glam Group. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to the trailblazing entrepreneur, Naiyya Saggi.
Thanks, Amrit. Very kind words. Thank you.
So let's quickly start with today's session. There is another interesting initiative that we are going to, highlight and put some, a couple of minutes, which is the Mompreneur Show. And I think that let's reserve that towards the end of the session today, which has relevance with the moms in the community that we have and all the entrepreneurs, the trailblazing entrepreneurs. So stay tuned for that while we get started with today's session. Next 30 minutes, I have got some interesting questions, which from the community we have formed a structure, and let's get started with the first question. Let's start with the first main question, that is, why communities, Naiyya?
Okay, so I think we kind of already have the answer if you're part of this Zoom call today, right? So, I think communities have been, I'll talk a little bit personally, I'll talk a little bit professionally, right? I mean, I think more strategically from a business perspective on why communities are important. Personally for me, and I think a lot of you would resonate with this already, I think communities have been absolutely key in everything I've done, right? I mean, the reason we even frankly send our kids to school is not you can teach them at home, but it's because the community you get access to, right? The social skills, the learning, the progression in cognitive abilities, right? So I think even from a very like starting point, communities are human nature, really. And I think for me personally, there are two ways in which communities have absolutely helped me as an entrepreneur. When I'm a first generation entrepreneur. I mean, please raise your hand if you're a first generation entrepreneur as well. I'd love to see. Yeah, most of us are, right? Which is so exciting about India today, actually. Think about it, right? We don't have to rely on these legacy business like कि बाप के पास या माँ के पास पैसा था तो हम भी business चलाते हैं, right? We're all first generation. So if you think about it, when I was moving back from Boston and I was an ex-consultant, I knew no one in business. And I think for me, the first port of call was actually entrepreneurs who were ex-McKinsey or ex-Harvard who started off companies in India. That was my first community experience in terms of कि कुछ सीखना है तो कहाँ से सीखना है, learn directly from people, right? So, and of course, from there, I think the second big community experience, personally I've really benefited from has also been a women's entrepreneur community. Because I think as I went through my journey as a woman entrepreneur, very bluntly speaking, I had a very ungendered perspective to my early stages as a professional, right? But I think the more I climbed up the ranks, I realized there were certain things I was going through. When I became pregnant, for instance, मुझे पता ही नहीं था, like I didn't know anybody. No one had come out talking about pregnancy as a first generation entrepreneur who'd been fundraising. I remember Googling like a lot, saying who are mothers, who are entrepreneurs, and there was no one who was saying ki hum maa hain, and entrepreneurs are the top entrepreneurs in the business, right? No one talked about that stage in their life. So again, reaching out personally to women entrepreneurs and to many men as well, right, who are dads, etc., and to figure out ki what is life as a parent after and as an entrepreneur, right? I think that was a really, really helpful construct. That's on the personal basis. On the professional, I'm a firm believer that communities are the future of the internet. I've said this a billion times. I've been saying this since 2016, 2015. I have obviously found some really powerful voices that echo the same thought, right from a Mark Zuckerberg down to a Google, down to what WhatsApp is doing today with its community stack, right? Now to another strategic partnership we're announcing in the coming week with a major player. So we're finding these voices now more and more believe that communities are the future of the internet. There are two trends there that I see very clearly. One is, of course, we went to this whole phase, key content and influencers and celebrities, right? And that was really amazing. It's a phase that continues. It's a phase that's super important. But if you look at like very strong defining trends, and China, the US set these trends in many ways, but of course, India is now leapfrogging all of this. The reports out, right? Apple recently launched its new products in China, not with influencers, right? It did not live stream with influencers. It live streamed with community members and with its own employees, right? And that was one of the most powerful launches we've had in China. If you think about what's happening with Nothing, with what happened with Xiaomi very early on, right? How Lego, which is honestly like plastic bricks, colored plastic bricks, but think about the brand resonance, the Lego building communities, the fact that it percolates into schools, into homes. There's so much passion about Lego. The reason all of this passion around Nothing, the cell phone, the smartphone company, the around what Xiaomi did in India very effectively, then onto Lego, right? I mean, communities are really defining trust, redefining evangelism, and of course, defining marketing tools and marketing hacks and co-creation in very meaningful ways. So I'll stop here, Amrit. It's a broad sort of construct of why communities are critical personally and professionally, but obviously we'll dive into more of this.
Yeah, it indeed sets the context over here. We are that generation, right? We have moved from experiencing the era of connectivity, the early stage, the platforms, to today, people want to connect more meaningfully. And, communities are driving that. That takes me to the next question for you, Ms. Naiyya. The advantages of building your own community, own branded community from scratch as an entrepreneur. What are your views on it?
I've been through both journeys. So I also basically take a step back always and I say, I've been entrepreneur 1.0 with Baby Chakra, entrepreneur 2.0 with the Glam, right? And I've been through both journeys with them. With Baby Chakra, we started building community first. From building what we were very lucky. I think we found a lot of product market fit to building probably the largest parenting communities in South Asia, right? With 20 million, 25 million moms, 10,000 doctors on our platform. From that base, we were able to build out products eventually, right? D2C consumer products. So we launched the Baby Chakra brand, and that became one of the fastest growing baby brands, right? And I think that kind of has been that journey that we're seeing play out, right? So it's towards our ulta on Baby Chakra. I mean, actually, Sida, that was my Sida. Now with the Good Glam group, the board, and of course with Darpan and everybody, like the leadership team's support and excitement about building community, we've done the reverse. We said we have these amazing products, right? Amrit and Saranjika, we have these products which are, of course, My Glam. It's one of the top 3 beauty companies in India. We're global already. We have Momsco, which is an amazing acquisition we were privileged to have last year. It's something that's really built out our parenting portal, platform. So with Momsco Baby Chakra, we are the largest parenting platforms in South Asia today, right? We have Sirona Hygiene, the largest seller of menstrual cups in the country. It's very much loved for its intimate hygiene products. Very, very focused on really solving for healthcare there. And Organic Harvest, Sane Botanica, like market leading products, right? So we said, listen, let's take a step back. We were seeing early signs of very strong consumer evangelism in these products, right? I mean, that exists, right? That's how people buy. But we were like, there are people who buy these products because they're passionate about certain things. They're passionate about the mission. So for instance, with Sirona Hygiene, we saw that people who were buying Sirona were passionate about the fact that this was a very positive sexuality oriented company, right? They were also very passionate about saying, I want to take control of my healthcare, of my intimate hygiene needs, right? Why should I be facing any judgment from, let's say, someone around me, or let's say even a gynecologist? मुझे अपने decisions अपने body के बारे में अपने आप लेने, right? So we saw that mission statement play out, right? With My Glam, right? What we realized, there were a lot of men and women who were using our product, and there were also a lot of women who were using it not but makeup, like very, very strong beauty enthusiasts, people who are basically using makeup to build confidence. Like today I had a sleepless night. I put on, some My Glam foundation. I've shown up here and I feel like, okay, it makes me look better on screen. Yeah. So I'm more confident, right? It's not about, I'm confident in this person in general, but this is my way of expressing my best self of myself, right? So we said, how do we tap into that feeling of inclusive beauty, right? And what does it mean for people? And therefore, what we did was we started doing the ulta. We basically said, okay, let's find out our early evangelists of our products and let's see if we can build a community from them. And, Amrit, it's been 4 months since we launched the Good community. Okay, it was like, obviously like a big bet we took as a group, and it's paid off beautifully. Today, we have access to more than 20 million community members across deep interest verticals. And these deep interests are the Glam Fam, which is on inclusive beauty, right? On Sirona Circle, which is on positive sexuality, on Organic Squad, which is on everything sustainable, holistic living, and of course on Mom Stars, which is everything to do with moms and sort of supporting them through this journey, which was kind of an offshoot of Baby Chakra as well, and has grown with Momsco. And the last community we have is our community of doctors and experts, right? So again, we continue with the legacy that Baby Chakra had built the seed of, and we've expanded that. So earlier we had gynecologists and pediatricians. We've expanded that to dermatologists, to trichologists, to nutritionists, to mental health therapists. So that is the community we built out. It was a kind of long story short, Amrit. Absolutely, I've seen the journey both ways. And I can't tell you the kind of organic evangelism, the organic love, the organic product referral, the co-creation. We co-create with more than 700,000 of our community members every month our products. Therefore, when our products hit the market, right, our hit rate is extremely high. The product market fit is extremely high from get-go because we do everything from packaging, labeling, ingredient choices, formulation finalization, pricing decisions, product design, experience, textures, whatever, right? With our community, and we launch with our communities as well. So I think it's been an incredible business decision to see play out.
Lovely. It is actually being a part of your market and operating out of there. It drives all the insights and the decisions that you make. And this is something that we want to drive as an insight to the entire community. Help us understand, Naiyya, how building a branded community, or for that matter, looking at communities at large, how can it help in establishing a strong brand identity or customer loyalty?
See, I think there are three parts to this, right? First of all, you have to really think deep about, and I say this very often, right? Many times you may not actually see, community is actually one of the seems like the cheapest things to build, but it's actually one of the most expensive things to build as well, right? Because when you're starting to build a community out as an entrepreneur, you are very, very, very much an integral part of the community, right? People are joining. You can put a community manager. Like we were the first actually in India to have something called a community at Baby Chakra, right? Have a community manager, to have a community data team, to have a community analytics team, to have a community product team. नहीं था. Like 2015 when I was starting off, कुछ community का construct ही नहीं था, right? It was a big, big bet we took. We were very fortunate to have our investors support us, and we were a community first play, right? I think with most entrepreneurs, what you would think about is, are you ready to put in the effort that a community requires of you? Because when you're part of a community, even when you have a community manager, when you have design, etc., and you don't have a big team, but even if you have like a WhatsApp group starting off with your early customers, right? And you're saying it's a community, they expect the founder to be a very important part of it because they're joining it because they believe in you and they believe in the mission you're out to build, right? So time expensive is something that community does demand from you, right? Not necessarily the traditional resource expensive, right? Now, coming to, I think the three things when you think about as a brand community, right? When you're building it out, first, be extremely transparent, right? Of course, you will find people and your earlier consumers are a great place to start, right? Your customers, your consumers, people you've reached out to for sampling your products, even if you're very early days, right? You have to be very transparent why you're building the community out, right? People can cut through bullshit these days, and they rightly should, right? So what you have to basically say is, listen, I want to build out this community for two reasons. One is I want to learn from you, right? And number two, I value your opinion massively. And if you love what I'm doing and what we're building, eventually you will be able to evangelize this with me and for me. Be very transparent, like do not beat around the bush there, right? And number two, very important, be consistent. We start by saying something, फिर कुछ और हो जाता है, right? You're interacting with a community that joined because they believed in you, what you told them, what you promised them in the mission of the company, in the fact that you would listen to them, that you would value their opinion, right? And you would create, let's say in multiple cases, like in our case, one case, Sirona Circle or Mom Stars, right? Create a safe, judgment-free space. Tomorrow, someone comes up and passes a judgment, right? As a community team, how do you deal with it? Right? You have to be consistent to the promises you made. So that's the first piece, right? The second piece, start with your early set of consumers and customers, but eventually what you have to constantly look for is a very, very strong set of metrics. Communities are all about quality versus quantity in the early days, right? So you have to start defining your quality metrics. What are your quality metrics? And of course, WhatsApp today, if you're building it on WhatsApp, for instance, that's a tool we have also chosen along with, of course, the app communities, because we do have a tech team, a product team in-house. We also had a Facebook group early on, right? Which I think Facebook is questionable as to where that will go, but nonetheless, depending on the format you want to choose, right? Identify your metrics and be very true to them, be very honest with them, discuss them with your team. It's part of your core metrics if you're building out community. What are those metrics on engagement? One is, activity per user, right? Retention, right? Time spent if you have access to that data, right? And on a per user data, because I think what you will find is there'll be some power users wo to karte jayenge aapke engagements, aapka time spent बढ़ता जाएगा. It's a vanity metric because let's say 90% of your people are not engaging at all. So keep your eyes out on like the true North Star metrics on engagement, right? And the second metric very early on you to think about is referral. Very early on, if you see people referring other members to your group, to your community, right? That is an incredibly strong sign कि आपकी community की product market fit शुरू हो गई. Yeah, so I think that's the second piece, right? Keep your eye on the data. I think as entrepreneurs, we look at data all the time. This is an extremely important part if you want to build community. And the third thing is acknowledge, respect, and give status to your community members. You are not the superstar in our community, right? I think as entrepreneurs, many times we get lauded and we get all that. It does not matter. We exist because we're here to serve, right? And as community leaders and community managers and community members and creators, I mean, it's even more so. So you are not the superstar. Please get that out of your head if that's at all happening, right? Make your community members your superstars. Understand everybody's contribution. Call it out regularly. Have a cadence. We have something called a leaderboard. We have something called champs as a program. We have a very robust set of rewards and recognition, right? Not all of them, by the way, are monetary. In fact, most of them are not monetary. I've seen monetary actually hurt us. They're more status oriented stuff where you amplify their name, the work they've done, right? And also stuff around where they get a surprise, right? Or they get a personal feeling of delight, right? Where let's say I call them up, or let's say one of the community leaders or one of the leaders from the team calls them up, or one of our celebrities calls them up, right? Because we have access to that today. So I think these are the three pieces I would really call out when building out a brand community. Very basic pieces, but I think broad guidelines that are sacrosanct in any community you're building out.
Yeah, lovely. In fact, the third point that you was just mentioning about is, acknowledging others, bringing them out. I think this is a funda that even we, go by is, आप दूसरों को जिताइए, आप अपने आप जीत जाओगे. It is a very basic human principle, right? People want to be a part of, they want to belong to something, and when that space recognizes you, acknowledges you, that is something which satisfies the human want. So it's very well put, Ms. Naiyya. You also mentioned about that it's not easy, it's expensive maybe to build your own community, right? For a brand.
In time, not in resources. Again, I'm going to clarify that, right? Because I mentioned that the founder involvement in the early days is very critical. So in time, I mean, if you're basically taking on this challenge and this opportunity, massive opportunity to build community, because, you can see, I'll be very transparent, right? Social media पर कितने followers हैं, आपके competition का भी उतना ही followers होगा, right? You can build out engagement, ठीक है, I mean, so हो जाएगा, right? You get a celeb, someone else gets a celeb, right? It's all fungible. But अगर आपकी community हो, right? That is real people, real customers, real evangelists, people who've seen your story build out, right? You'll be so surprised they're talking about you in places that people actually buying stuff, right? Because they're talking about you in offices, at homes, in schools, right? In doctor clinics, because those are real people. They're the ones you're actually asking to buy products, right? Or asking to talk about your brand. So I think, yeah, sorry, I interrupted.
Yeah,
but
so
I just
in
wanted to talk
terms
about
of
time
in terms of
expenses.
time and the kind of investment that the community demands, we are and just moving ahead, Dr. Amit Kumar, I see you raising hands, but please allow us to take your questions towards the end of the session. I value that you want to ask questions, and I think as entrepreneurs everyone is curious, but then let me come back to you, right? So going forward with this question, the kind of risks or the kind of investment that an entrepreneur has to give, it's not easy building your own branded community. But when we look at communities at large, leveraging communities, be it branded or an existing one, entrepreneurs could be in the cusp of deciding that should I go ahead and build my own community, or should I join an existing one and leverage that? What are your thoughts on it, and how can entrepreneurs, have a perspective on that?
I mean, see, leveraging an existing community is an absolutely no-brainer. वो तो करना ही करना है, right? I mean, if you're operating in a silo, I mean, see, life is about people. I mean, forget entrepreneurship, forget brand building, everything. Life is about people. If you're not working, today's Saturday morning, right? I told you, Amrit and Suranjik, I was up all night because in the middle of a launch, right? But I know that when I'm talking to, let's say, Dr. Amit, or I'm talking to Alisha, or I'm talking to Sanskriti, or I'm talking to Pratiksha, right? These are people who I will probably learn from, right? Or who will talk, hey, I had this experience with Naiyya, right? And we'll talk about what we are trying to build in places where I don't have access to today. Right? So I do this because I'm passionate about this, of course, but I also do this because it's strategic. It's strategic for all of us to show up here, to be part of this community, right? All of us are here to build something, to make something of our lives, right? So being part of a community is a no-brainer. Now, when you choose a community to be part of, be cognizant of two things, right? Again, you can't take from a community. That is not the way life works. That's not the way communities work. You have to give. I'm part of many communities, right? I mentioned the women entrepreneurs community, something I did last year, which I was extremely happy about, right? It was one of my happiest moments, right? And I've had many, fortunately, happy moments. It was a time when I got off a call, and I do some very discreet angel checks, right? And I got off a call with a bunch of angel investors I normally invest with. And someone made a comment, I said, जो deals आते हैं ना, like when you're evaluating deals, and I do any small checks, yeah, I mean, nothing significant, but whatever I love. I mean, I love being part of entrepreneur journey. So there were no women in that list that week. So and last week also kami the. So I said, why aren't there any women entrepreneurs, right? Because I was also one of the few women entrepreneurs on that call. They're like, hey, any women. And I was like, what? Are you kidding me? And I got so angry. I actually got angry. I don't get angry very often. I got so angry. I said, I'll show you. So I went back and I talked to Startup India, talked to Ladies Who Lead. I talked to the Mint. And I said, let's take out a list of 100. Just to make a scale makes a statement. I say that all the time, right? 100 top women entrepreneurs in India. Let's make it happen. They said, okay, but when? I said, kaun sa date aa raha hai? I said, हाँ, women entrepreneurs day aa raha hai, ek hafte mein. They're like, impossible hoga nahi. I said, listen, hum sab partners hai, let's make it happen, right? So we made it happen. The Mint was amazing, by the way. SK said he'd give us one para saying, here's a link to the report in the Mint. He got so excited by it. His team got so excited by it. They gave us 4 full pages. 4 full pages in the leading financial daily in India on 100 top women entrepreneurs building India. We called it changing the narrative because that's exactly what we set out to do. To basically say there are women, amazing women, they're building India, and there are 100 and actually many, many more of them, but here are 100 of them. So tomorrow, do not tell any woman out there, do not tell in any manner on any like award ceremony ki women nahi. This is like a thing that people are actually using now to put in people's faces and say, hey women, dekh lo. So I just want to say, and by the way, that was like, when I think about it, it gives me a lot of happiness, right? You can see it from my face, I guess, like, but I think it was also my way of giving back to the community because the women's community and the founder community in general had given me so much, right? It was my way of basically saying, let's get all our partners together and let's celebrate them, right? And by the way, when the article came out, sorry, I'm digressing a bit, when the article came out, I want to make another point. Of course, the women shared this article. Of course, the organization shared, but you'd be amazed by the number of male entrepreneurs, male industry leaders, male CEOs shared this article. Men wrote to me saying that, Naiyya, I have saved this because I have 2 daughters at home, right? And every day for the next 100 days, we're going to discuss one entrepreneur's journey with my daughters at our dining table because I want them to have this aspiration. So I just want to say that, when we want to make change, I mean, so communities first are not just ki ek community mein ghus jao, right? Communities are people, you bring them together. It's a very nice, beautiful, like, it's an ongoing journey, right, of life, right? So you have to be part of communities and don't be exclusionary in communities. Communities are not meant to exclude. Communities are meant to include and to build everybody out and to build all our journeys out and support each other, right? So yeah, so yes, please join communities.
So I'm so happy that we brought this perspective out, right? Community is not just one, it's not singular, it's not something that only you build. And even if you build, there are other 10 communities that are going to be out there that are going to help you, benefit you, and that a way where you can go out and benefit the community. Because as you said, it's not just take, it's give, and it has to be a two-way road, right? So let me for the community bring the focus on how can communities and I would like to I would like you to reiterate on this. You have narrated your journey and how it helped you, but then for early stage entrepreneurs, communities, be it your own or the communities around you, how can someone go ahead and leverage these communities, especially when they are at a very early stage in their business? They are either trying to get the product market fit. Let's get into some details over there, right?
Yeah, happy to share. So I think there are 2 kinds of communities, right? One is for professional, like your professional journey communities. One is for your brand, and those are communities you can leverage, right? So I'll just break it out into these two, right? Now, professional journey communities are exactly one like this, right? I mean, I'm assuming that these are meetups that happen often. You get to know each other. There's probably a WhatsApp group or like some sort of a software that connects all of you, and you can share like, hey, I need this, or anybody in this city, now I know I have someone in Bahrain, right? Who can help me source this or find out more about this, or this employee saying this to me, how do I deal with it? That's there. And I have many, many such communities. Like I said, the female founders community, I have the McKinsey community. So your alum groups are great communities, right? So your professional alum groups as well. So you have the McKinsey community, you have the Harvard community, you have the uh I don't know, the Google community. Like we have a bunch of communities that I'm part of. And you give, you introduce, you request, as the case maybe. There's a D2C founders community, which is amazing as well. Abhishek runs that. So there are these communities, right, which are very city specific or profession specific or alum specific or skill specific, function specific, right, sector specific. So ye ek hai. The second is in terms of building your brand, like that's your professional journey community, right? The second one is on your brand ko banane ka community, right? I'll give you an example. So for instance, with what we had done at the Good Glam group and what we continue to do is we've opened up our communities because I'm very like one of those open source people type. Like, I don't believe in like apna rakho. It doesn't work that way. Life has changed, the world has changed, right? So what we've done is opened up a community. So if someone, for instance, we've had Nibblers, right, which is like this lovely
The
brand
gummies
that
brand.
correct, right? Ashni's company. And so
Ashni,
she
yeah.
reached out. She reached out to me and said, hey, Naiyya, so I put her in touch with my community team. She said, I want to launch Nibblers with mom. So I said, okay, cool, talk to our Mom Star community manager. And so she got in touch, but she interestingly found a very good partner in Sirona as well. So then they ran a contest for Nibblers on our social and on our community WhatsApp groups and app groups. They got some, I think, 90,000 or something, some ridiculous number of responses to some contest they ran, right? So Ashit actually posted about it as well on LinkedIn organically, right? Now there's multiple, like, Nestle works with us. Like those are now, of course, like the bigger corporates are more like on, also we have a paid partnership with them. So it's a community is a great way to also obviously think about how to sustain community efforts by getting in revenues too, right? So we have a lot of brands work with us, for instance. And who are the other communities, right? You have Facebook groups, you have WhatsApp groups, right? So I think you can think about, depending on your segment, right? You can think about a lot of communities, but the important thing is to identify the right ones, right? And what does that mean? It means where the community mods or the admins have the right respect or the right relationship with their community members. Because if you go through an admin who maybe, I don't know, has a different equation, right? Then you as a brand will lose will lose some of your shine as well through that association. Unfortunately, but true, right? It's a very people's business. And the second piece is obviously like you'd find some hatke communities, right? Like I said, Nibblers. Like who would have thought an intimate hygiene brand, right? But she found amazing success in like the community of people who were looking at positive sexuality, right? So it's a hatke sochna padta. It's not always the same story every time, right? There was actually another brand called I forget the name now, but it's a plus size brand, right? They reached out to the Glam fam and they said, can we do collaborate? They did 2-3 collaborations. That's very, very successful. She was setting up, I think she was setting up her company at that point in time, right? So again, a beautiful example, right, where entrepreneurs have come together and they figured out like, let's use this because the mission aligns and the stakeholder ecosystem aligns, right, best to this community.
Great. So when we just speak about early stage entrepreneurs, I just would like to re-emphasize that communities are not just a way to reach those right people, but also build the infrastructure that you're building at an early stage. Is what we take the inspiration from how Naiyya has been doing it, and I think it's not just restricted to the early stage, right? Because as businesses are, they keep evolving, the markets keep evolving, the products keep evolving, the communities are there as an infrastructure for you to be with, as you build your business and as you build your brands. Going a step forward, when entrepreneurs decide to build their own communities, some effective strategies, some thoughts on attracting and engaging members in the self-built brand community?
So I think the most important point actually is the platform on which you're building your community out. That's one of the most important decisions you'll make, right? I think there was a time when we were building on app, right? And of course, Baby Chakra had built out one of the top products. I mean, it was recognized by Google and Facebook and, like everything else, right? But that was a very different time. It was a different time. I think it was at the time when it was a community first product. So we were actually building it out of the app saying, yay, this is the journey we want to take. So we built out a hyper personalized, there were times when we could identify when a mother had joined, whether she was a working mother, a stay-at-home mother, the mother of twins, whether she was pregnant, just by some of her interaction. Like we had that predictive, like that algorithm in place, right? We built out, like we had a really, really kick-ass data science team. This is 2015, 2016, right? Like when no one had thought about all of this stuff. So I think for that, we got a lot of, accolades. We were in Healthline, the only Asian company to feature as a top pregnancy parenting app globally by Healthline. So we got a lot of all this stuff happen, right? Today, however, I feel like life is a thoda sa different journey, right? So, one thing I've learned is that you might want to say, okay, I don't need to build like a pure community product. I want to build something that is a place where I can engage and learn and, love my community and they love me back. So what are their watering holes, right? The watering holes today offline are probably, it could be doctors' clinics, could be schools, could be offices, could be beauty parlors. I don't know, right? But online, is it WhatsApp? Is it Discord? Is it, I don't know, Reddit? Like, what is it, right? So you have to think about what your community's natural watering holes are and play with that. So for instance, we figured that, of course, we would build on our app communities further and further because as Good Glam, we actually have, like I mentioned, the tech team, the resources to invest in apps. And apps are a very important piece of our journey on being direct to consumer, right? And it's worked out well. So we have a community stack on our apps in every app in our brand portfolio, which is incredible. But we've also done a strategic partnership with WhatsApp. In fact, we're helping WhatsApp with also the community stack to build out further. And we built out our WhatsApp communities. Now, WhatsApp to sabke paas hai access, right? You can build out a WhatsApp. So your platform is super critical, right? Where is your watering hole for your communities and to build on that? That's one, right? I think the second piece to think about is in terms of engagement, because you don't want people to get the friction ki engage nahi karna because mujhe platform par hi nahi jana. That's the whole point I'm trying to make, right? The second piece is you have to make an engagement calendar. You have to. And I think again, like I said, it's a time expensive proposition. So day by day, how are you engaging people, right? What are you talking about? You have to have that strategically put down, right? And it has to be relevant. It's not audiences, it's community. So I said, when people say that, okay, community key messaging, I'm like, community key posting. I'm like, it's not posting, it's conversations. Yeah. So I think your community plan is to be very strategic and very conversation oriented, very feedback oriented, very logo co like, and we've done a bunch of really fun stuff also, right? We've done games, we've done trackers, weight loss challenge, skin glow challenge, right? Have you removed your makeup at night? Yes, 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 right? And I was like, oh, I haven't. I have to go and run and remove my makeup, right? Because I'm part of the Glam fam as well, right? So I think these are like very interesting thoughts you can do with communities, right? And then of course, third is onboarding is super critical to drive engagement, right? So when the first experience, so when someone joins, right, you have a community mod, right? The person will probably ask, introduce yourself. Because someone is you're entering a party, right? You walk in. I mean, imagine, Amrit, imagine you start asking me questions without introducing me, right? And maybe like, I don't know, Sanjana is like, who the hell is she? I signed up for this because Sanjana said, please come for this. It's like, I don't know who this is, right? So I think the onboarding piece is super important, right? So you have to ask people, but it's better if it comes from the person versus the admin having to introduce you, right? So you ping that person, thoda sa one-to-one connect lagta hai, right? You ping that person saying, hey, hi, I just saw you join the community. Sanjana, do you want to introduce yourself with a picture? And here are 2-3 points, questions you can answer. Simple questions, right? So that's the other piece, the onboarding experience, right? And the fourth, I would say, is very, 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 very tight moderation, right? It's extremely important to stick to, I talked about consistency earlier, right? Extremely important to, if you commit to a judgment-free, spam-free experience, with what communities are supposed to do, right? You have to make that happen. So I think one way we've learned to do this, and of course, like we've checked all the AI tools, all the tools in the world, right? And there's still obviously a gap in that market. We're talking to another partner. We'll announce that strategic partnership soon, but there's still a gap. So one thing we realized is that, who comes to help? our community champs. So we have community leaders who are, the people who are part of my team. But what we've really, really loved and benefited from is that the people who are naturally very inspired by the idea of building communities they want to be part of the mission. They want to build out something with us, right? And they believe in like connecting people. Hey, I say, look, I'm one of them, right? So you find them, and then you basically say, listen, you trust them. You make them admins. You say, "Aapko kuch bhi galat lage against our community values." Of course, you do an onboarding training program with them, right? You do consistent like touch points monthly with them, right? And then you say, you are the leader of this community. You drive and you exercise your judgment on whether this kind of conversation has a right to exist, deserves a place, or this person deserves a place in our community. So I think these are the 4 tenets really of in building engagement. The first is platform. Someone asked a question. The first is the platform, the choice of platform.
Yes, yes. In fact, I was just going to reiterate that bit, and it's very well put. In terms of giving a perspective. A lot of people have that thing, that building a community, you need a platform, you need a tech stack. It is important. What is important is using that tech stack or using the technology. What value are you driving through that thing? When it comes to conversations, people want to talk, or people want to exchange messages on one of the most common widespread platforms, and it is wrong to make it inconvenient for them, to ask them to move out from there just because we want to build another community. So, and that's the reason where, even after going D2C, the brands are entering into the offline stores, right? Because the brands want to go to the place where people are spending time, and it's better to engage with them over there. And rightly put, that even if you have a stack, even if you have the tech ecosystem around your brand, it is very, very important to go and make your presence over there where people spend the time the most, be it Discord, be it WhatsApp, or any other places where your target audience spends time or talks to each other, right? So very well
Yeah,
put, Naiyya.
I call this construct, I use this all the time. Again, I think I sound like a broken record sometimes on this, but I've been talking about this for a while. I call it the watering holes, right? So
Yes.
where are your people already, right? And just find them there and build for them there.
Lovely, lovely. Before we wrap up and go to the question and answer session, one last question that I would like to ask you is communities from a B2B perspective. There are a lot of entrepreneurs in the community which operate in the model of a B2B business. So, community building from a B2B perspective, would like your thoughts, Naiyya.
I mean, a beautiful example I can think of immediately from a SaaS, but like SaaS businesses, right? They're all B2B. But like if you look at Canva, if you look at HackerRank back home in India and the US, of course, they did a fab job of it, right? I mean, if you look at like so many SaaS businesses which are B2B, or if you look at, I was talking to someone who runs this very large, forget the name now. I have been up all night, everybody, so forgive my forgetfulness. But there's a wonderful fishing, sort of seafood business, right? The unicorn company. I'm forgetting the name. Fresh to Home. Sorry, yeah, they've taken my product manager from Baby Chakra to build out their community stack, right? But what Fresh to Home has done, they built out communities of fishermen. It's a B2B business, right? They procure from fishermen and they whatever. So they build out communities of fishermen. So there are many, 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 many examples, right, of people building out communities, even in B2B businesses across multiple segments and sectors, right? Now, why do they do that? B2B business में और भी ज़रूरी है, actually, in some sense, right? Because you only have so many stakeholders you're reliant on or you play with, right? In one sense, we think about it like just very hatke, even our doctors community is a bit of a B2B play. Correct. Because doctors are not our end consumers of Baby Chakra. But they are the ones who basically talk about Baby Chakra, or they talk about the mom's co, they talk about, or like they love our product. So they will say, ha, acha product tha. Right? I saw the formulation. And it's true, like our products are the safest in the market, right? We are India's first baby safe range, right? Like truly baby safe range. So in a way, like I think the B2B piece is super critical. Now, how do you do it? You knock on a lot of doors. A lot of doors in the early days, depending on, of course, the cohort you want to create. I'll give you an example, right? So there are physical doors and the digital doors, right? So if you're trying to create, like, let's say, a community of people who are more offline, right? Like, let's say fishermen or doctors or hospital, like whatever, right? you have to go meet them in person, find out your key opinion leaders there, right? And bring them on. And then they basically become evangelists for you in bringing on their brethren, if you will, right? You have to figure out very smartly and very strategically kaun hai KOL in these areas, right? Now, on digital doors, right? I think a couple of the SaaS companies and Canva, all of them have done a fantastic job. A lot of SEO, a lot of growth hacking, a lot of website optimization, forum optimization, UGC optimization, right? So people have done that as well. So I think these are the two doors you have to basically knock on and get your business going on the B2B side.
Lovely. Excellent insights on, building your own branded community, leveraging existing communities around you. And, when it comes to building a community, a very good perspective we have been able to bring out from this session is that communities is a way of building businesses. It is not just one tactic, because it's not a short-term game, it's an infinite game. And if you keep aside the monies, there's a lot of investment that goes behind from the founder himself or herself, and that's the first-hand understanding we have got. Let's quickly get on to the question and answer session. Time is of essence, and we are mindful about you being in the midst of a launch. So, all right, how can one identify? So these are the questions from the community, Naiyya, that I'll be.
Do you want the community members to ask me directly? Is that easier?
That works. Mr.
Or
Amit
no?
Kumar has been very patient, so I'd let him go first.
Sure.
Yes. Yeah.
Hi, Dr. Kumar.
Hi, Naiyya. How are you doing?
Very good, very good. Great on a Saturday, rainy, lovely Saturday morning.
Yeah. And, first of all, I congratulate you. Being a new space is coming in your venture. I've heard about that.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I will not disclose right away because I have worked for that company as a vice president as a consultant head over there. And
Thank you very much.
because I work for Organic India for more than 20 years. And I have been excited to heard about the baby chakra. Since we are into organic space for many years, in 2007, I started scratch, or must be you have taken my tea, green tea, in your kit.
Yes, of course. And
So
I love Organic India products, actually.
I was the first brand manager over there, and I worked for more than 15 years in that company and make a 400 crore brand. Then sooner or later realized that why not other people come into the organic business? So people are coming, and as you rightly said that people should indulge in the community by get it anywhere. So my funda is little matching with you, that starting from Mother Earth to your end consumer is really an important chain for any community. When you talk about organic chakra or any of your brand, especially baby chakra, starting from a mother nature and starting from the motherhood, the community start bringing itself the knowledge and itself maintaining the atmosphere around to maintain the sustainability thought. And I hopefully in future will connect with your new venture coming in a week time. Very excited to heard about this, and for my Glam, especially connecting all the things very well. And I really appreciate the time you spent to us and give us an opportunity to talk. And it's a beautiful Saturday today, and my best wishes are with you. And hopefully I have shared my few messages to you directly. If you can just connect, we can make a different level of chakra. Because why I'm saying, in Organic India, we are struggling with baby issues, because we are not knowing that what the newly born baby wants to eat in the form of organic. And we have a thought process in that, and we work on lots of the even Marul Wadia, Britannia owner of the company, she wanted to have a biscuits for instant babies, but we couldn't make as an organic. So we want to add on in your baby chakra that the cereals are very equally important in the because we have researched a lot in Organic India. established not from tea to supplement. We have a turmeric latte and everything. What really good for baby to have a good development process. So we can futurely we can work on this part also.
No, sounds good, Dr. Kumar, and wonderful to meet you. And absolutely, let's stay in touch.
Yeah, please, sir. Thank you so much for.
Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Dr. Amit Kumar. I have got some questions on my personal chat, Naiyya, that I would like to take up for the community.
I just have a request. I have a hard stop at 12. So
yes,
if you just want to ask me maybe 2 questions, because I do.
yes,
Yeah.
totally perfect. How can the 0 to 1 problem be addressed, where lower users or lower numbers lead to lower incentives for new users to join?
So I think we discussed this a little bit, and of course, it requires a much more detailed conversation depending on the context, depending on the industry, sector, problem statement you're trying to solve, etc. And some markets actually may be niche, right? So maybe it is a conversation of, I'll give you an example. I was talking to, and then I'll dive into what also I want everybody to sign up for if once we launch it. But we're doing this podcast on the top entrepreneurs who are moms in the country, right? I'm hosting it. It's of course, it's a passion project, but I think it's also it's important. Their voices need to be heard, right? Because it's a different journey. And I was talking to Sarah Sham yesterday, who's an interior designer, right? I've kind of divulged one of our guests is there before it's out. And she was telling me that her vision is to build out a luxury interior design firm. She wants to take on very, very large, but very, very few projects. So I think it all depends on context, right? I mean, she's not looking at like being like a 200-person team. She's very clear. She's like, I want to be a very valuable company, but I want to just deal in a very specific niche, a very specific segment. So it's not about 0 to 1 may actually be, maybe you've already found your most valuable customers. Who knows, right? Maybe you have to go deeper in their pockets. Like with Baby Chakra, while arguably might say, 1.6 billion people, 1.4 billion people, largest birth cohort in the world, 26.7 million babies born every year, but not everybody is a relevant audience today for what we are serving, correct? When you go deeper into that journey, you're probably like, okay, maybe 10, 15 million mothers is what we can today serve with the products we have, with the digital platforms we have, right? Now, how do you go deeper in their journeys to add more value to their lives, to be in more service of them? So yeah, I just want to clarify that the 0 to 1, I think sometimes you say that array itne log hain. Maybe it is enough. Just do a double check on that to start off your journey with and to go deeper in their pockets. So it's all very context specific.
Lovely. So the last bit, I've got questions from people. The nature of the question is same, but the industry is different. So how can I go about and build a fashion community, or similar question, a classic toys for kids wala community? So if you talk about fashion, or it's about how they get started, I think so your nuggets over there would really help with that.
Are these operational businesses, do they have an existing set of customers already?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think start off with identifying who your power users are, power customers are, right? So there'll be 2 cohorts, right? You'll see some people who will keep on coming, looking at all your products, right? You have their data. Wo khareedte nahi hai, but they're obsessed. They like every post of yours. There's some people like that, right? And then there's some people who keep on buying your products again and again. That's your starting point. That's a very important starting point. Because then as a founder, when you reach out to them saying, hey, I've identified you, and I thank you, first of all. And, I identified you as someone who seems to love our brand, seems to love our product. I'm so grateful because as a founder, right, this is what matters. It's what we live for, right? So I want to invite you to the community of like a privileged community of early community members, power users, power community members that we are creating. Give it a nice name. That's mission aligned, right? Invite them onto it personally. Have your team invite people onto it personally. That's your starting point. So I'm assuming most of us here at least have 100, 200 customers like that we can think of, right? People who've bought or people who've come and browsed multiple times or engaged with your social media or whatever multiple times, right? So unse shuru karo aap. That's your starting point. It's actually very simple. It's not that complex.
And in fact, once you get started from there with the tight moderation that we need, to build the whole space, I think the community effect sets in, and I think it also organically.
No, so before moderation, you have to set why they should join this community. That you and your team obviously will take a step back and say, why should they join this community? right? Why do we want, like, okay, so you've joined this, let's say, privilege community platform. Are you giving them privileges? Are you giving them a discount voucher? Or are you here so that they can learn, let's say, this toy company, right? Are they here so they get a daily activity to do with their children that your team has thought through, or that you have a team of pedagogy experts, right, who help you create, or your internal team of toy experts have said, right? I mean, what is it? What are they joining in for? Like this fashion community, right? Is it to basically keep abreast with, like, I don't know, like fashion trends, or is it to get discount vouchers? I mean, what is it? What is it for? You have to be very, very clear on your purpose for community. What will they get out of it? And your purpose is clear. You want to engage them. You want to keep their loyalty. You want to have their evangelism. You want to have them talk about your products and show photos of them. And by the way, UGC posts do way better than even influencer posts and seller posts, by the way, on marketing, on Facebook, Insta marketing, and even on CRMs, right? So you want that content for yourself as well, right? Obviously, you want so many things from your community. What are you giving to them? So have that purpose clear. Then moderation, it's all like the ops piece of it. Yeah,
Naiyya, we would like you to just spend a minute on the Mompreneur show.
Yeah. I mean, that's
Please.
the launch. I've actually been busy the whole night. I've been now. Pieces to the show, and I really, I am so excited about this, right? And the thought obviously came from the fact that, and I've shared so much of my personal journey with you all, but two pieces, right? One is that amazing entrepreneurs who are mothers, right? They have a different journey. So we're doing a series of podcasts with amazing people, which is, I think the pre-bars are starting today. And it's video podcast. You can, I think one thing I really learned from people is by seeing them, how they talk, how they articulate, kaise bolte hain. Like I learn a lot by seeing people. So I said, ye video hona chahiye. I understand, like, podcast hearing is cool, but I wanted to be a video podcast, right? So we're doing a video series rather, which is launching today. So we have, Neelu, who's kicking this off. Neelu Khatri, she's a co-founder of Akasa Air. She was a wing commander in the Indian Air Force. She's a single mother, right? She's raised the two boys on her own, and there's some amazing stories. I mean, imagine and we said from the Air Force to airline, that journey, right? We're starting off with that. Then of course we have Jivika, who's the founder of Aste. Then we have Faye, we're going to be shooting on Monday. We just did Sarah yesterday from Isaji's Atelier. She's one of the top interior designers in the country today. We're doing Ashi Dua, who's the director and producer of Lust Stories. We've done Pooja Jari, who's the founder of The Glitch. So she sold off The Glitch to WPP, was the group CEO in India for a while. Now she's starting her own company. We have amazing, amazing people on this. We have Lizzie Chapman, Zest Money. So we have an amazing set of entrepreneurs who are moms who are on my video podcast.
Yeah.
So that's the first part. That's an inspiration part. It's called Mompreneur Legends. But the important part I want to leave with all of you is we're launching the Mompreneur Show, which is a way where we're opening it up to 10 cities across India. We're anticipating about 50,000 registrations and self-nominations from moms who are smaller, younger entrepreneurs in their journey. We have it's a partnership with Startup India, with Vicky Flo, with Aspire for Her, and some other partners. We have an amazing jury. We've gotten confirmations from Suhasini, who just sold off Yoga Bar, right, to ITC for 500 crores. So she's on our jury. Sairi's on our jury. We're trying to get the MD of Invest India on our jury as well. And so basically, it's like going to be it's like Radhika Gai, who's the first unicorn woman founder in India. She's on our jury. The co-founder of Jabong is on our jury. So we have an amazing, amazing jury lined up as well. We have some celebs also lined up, which is towards a hush hush. I'll tell you guys about that soon. But please, we're going to be launching the site in the coming week. I'll pass on the link to Amrit and to Suranjika. Please apply. Because there is obviously seed capital, but I think the exposure, especially on the media assets, plus the opportunity to get invested in by even the jury members is amazing, right? We also have Ankita Vashisht from Stronger Ventures, right? The fund is looking to also co-invest in some of these, some of our mom entrepreneurs, right? So yeah, long story short, please apply. Please also spread the word. I think there are lots of mothers who we all know in our resident societies, in our communities, who need that one shot. Yeah. So
And the good Glam group backing it. So think of communities, think of media platforms, think of the communities coming together. So it's something that you need to look out for. We'll definitely spread the word, Naiyya, in our community and beyond. And as we wrap up today's session, I would like to thank Naiyya for her time. Even after a hard stop, she has given us already 3 more minutes, and we are so grateful to you, Naiyya. Thank you so much. Thank you, Suranjika, for setting this up when you met her, and as a community, TSD community, with a vision of increasing the startup success rates, which is about just 10% in India. That's the mission that we are going ahead with, to help 10,000 entrepreneurs by 2026 by using the power of technology, networking, and communities. And you are nothing short of an inspiration for us at TSD community, Naiyya. And not only us, I'm voicing this on part of the entire community, where we have picked up all the golden nuggets today, and we are going to look at our businesses grow and thrive. Thank you so much, Naiyya. We look forward to having you again and again on our platform, so that you keep inspiring people and we keep learning from you.
no, it's been my pleasure. I love doing this. I love meeting amazing people, inspiring people like yourselves. And I must say, the Suranjika is the bomb. Huh? She caught me and she didn't let go of me. So I had to sign up for this, but I'm so glad I
Yes,
did.
I was just going to say that I totally took the opportunity and then clicked it and finalized it. Like, I want her.
No, thank you so much. And please spread the word about the Mompreneur Show and the Mompreneur podcast. Please, please do. I really, we're
100%.
doing this because we know it'll help people who are looking for this kind of conversation and just a platform. So please do.
Yeah,
So thank you,
we'll
everybody.
just run a feature within the community when the site is up. So you have a word for it.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Lovely.
Anybody wants
Thank
to
you
connect
so
with
much.
me, I'm
Thank you.
available on LinkedIn. All right.
Yes.
Cheers. Bye.
Thank you so
Bye. All the
much,
best.
everyone
Thank
who
you.
joined us. Thank you so much.